Heather McDonald. Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Well, I have so many topics, crimes, updates, juicy stuff, fun shows for me to cover and break down coming to you right now. But let's just talk about the hottest topic right now, and that's me. Do you know that you can watch Juicy Scoop on YouTube? Well, you can, and I get such great people that watch every single week, but I don't think that they're telling other people. That might be you. You might not be made aware. You might be one of those people. You need to subscribe, you need to share it, and you need to tell people. My channel is the Heather McDonald channel on YouTube. So you can watch the clips there. You can watch the entire videos there. So make sure you go and check it out. Okay. One thing I wanted to say that someone said was, this was Michelle, and she said, Heather would look so pretty if she got a nose job. That is from someone watching the YouTube. Now, I just want to say, Michelle, totally agree. Totally agree. I kind of wanted a nose job my whole life. I don't know when I would be able to have the downtime to do it. And then I'm just like, at this point, do I want to look like everybody else? This photo came out, and it is, if the Friends cast from like 20 years ago were Kardashianified, and that means they, you know, all the fillers, all the filters, the lips, the nose, everybody is kind of turning into Kim Kardashian, J-Lo mixture. I mean, honestly, I think it's like hard to tell who people are anymore. And so I probably would look better with a nose job. And I'm not saying I'm never going to get it, but I am kind of, I just thought this was like amazing. And I think they all look gorgeous as Kardashians. They do look prettier, but I think you just start to get so used to it. And now people are showing like TikToks, like those filters to make your face perfect. And then there's a Kylie filter, which just everyone, then people put on the Kylie filter and some of them look more like Khloe and other ones look like Kim, but it's the Kylie filter. I mean, that just goes to prove to you that everyone is morphing in to the same face. So if you have an original face, I am telling you that original face is going to be worth something, just like original art is going to be worth something as an NFT. More on that later on Patreon. But I'm telling you, keep your original face. You can look prettier, fix your teeth, whatever. But when you start with a pretty face and then you make it a Kardashian face, I don't know. Where are you going to go from there? I guess you could go and be on The Real Housewives of Miami. It's coming back on Peacock. I just watched the trailer for it. And who is the ex-Kardashian friend? Larsa Pippen. She's on it. She's back. And there's one clip where someone goes, you with your broke ass Kardashian half face or something, like, because she really got Kardashianified in her face. And they talk about her OnlyFans. And it first started out, the trailer, and I was like, oh, this is everything else. Like, wow! And a girl so happy, you know, the champagne bottle popping, a girl slapping another girl's ass, tits shaking, someone falling. And then you're like, oh, I've seen this. Sights of pretty things in Miami. But then later in the trailer, it sounds like some real shit's happening. It sounds like there's criminal stuff. Again, we need at least one person facing indictment or prison time or their spouse in every franchise. Otherwise, we are not interested. So congrats, Miami. We know there's a lot of organized crime and things that come out of Miami. So I don't know why they just decided to bring it back. I think they literally sat around and was like, we were listening to Juicy Scoop. And the two, you know, everyone talks about Beverly Hills and Erica Jane and Jen Shah with Salt Lake City and Mary and her weird church. You know, we got to come up with some more criminal stuff. Well, let's go to Miami. I mean, we've all seen the movies about cocaine in Miami and getting off a plane and that music, that Rolling Stone music that plays slow-mo in every movie about Miami and coke dealings. I'll think of the song in a minute. Anyway, there you go. A lot of you said from Tuesday's show, I've got the latest Kardashian skinny white guy with lots of tattoos, and it's Adam Levine. Well, I'm like, why did we not think of it? he's absolutely perfect for one of the girls. However, he's been married since 2014. We're not here to break up a family, people. We're just out to find 2 to 3 other skinny, tattooed white guys. Now, I also want to say, now you guys know that Lala and Randall of Vanderpump Rules, it is official, they have broken up. There was stuff that came out even more that really kind of explained, if you're following it out, why, she's let it known that she's moved out. But who will she date next? And someone said, well, when Kim's done with Pete Davidson, maybe she'll toss Pete over to Lala, because I think that, that big dick just seems to do things for people that need a new boyfriend. Now, clearly I'm joking. But then I go, oh my God, it's like the sisterhood of the traveling Petes. So when you're done with his big dick energy to just get you over your ex, then you pass him on like a sister would to someone else that just needs that fun, goofy, big dick, white, skinny, tattooed energy. Okay. All right. This influencer also that looks just like a Kardashian, she and her sister. One looks like Kim, one looks like Kylie. She just got in a lot of trouble. She got in a DM fight with this girl. She left, not a DM. She left a voice memo from her Snapchat, and it was leaked onto social media. Her name is Faiza, and she came under fire. She got millions of followers. She made a very racist comment against the people of Pakistan, and telling this woman you should go back where that she should go back to where they are effing from, where they F donkeys for money and have no effing money. And she could take her dad and he could be my effing slave. Anyway, Faiza and Sonia are reportedly of Pakistani descent as well. So that was interesting. So shortly after receiving backlash from followers about her words, the Daily Mail reported that Faiza did take to her Instagram account, and someone sent it to me because she did the low makeup, not a fancy background, decent lighting, but not fabulous lighting, like not a ring light, but she turned on every light in her house, to apologize and saying, she did say, first she said, I won't apologize for defending myself in anger because I simply had enough. But then she went and and then later on realized that she better apologize. But she lost all these sponsors. And, sometimes you just can't take it with the hate and the people, whatever. Anyway, I don't know, but if her face and her sister's face will stay the same. Okay, listen. Adele has announced her Las Vegas residency. How do I feel about this? A little bit mixed feelings. I told you I wanted a residency. Adele now there's one less spot for me. Guess I won't be doing Caesar's Palace. I know there's other smaller venues if anyone would like to see me. But of course, this is a great idea, okay? This is why I want to do it. She has a 9-year-old son, and she's going to be there from January until July. I think there's only January until April. There's only 1 week that she has off. So you can go see her there. I mean, how great for her. She'll get some big mansion outside of Las Vegas, relax, sleep, drink some hot tea, go in the pool with her son, then go and sing. And she likes to tell lots of funny jokes in between all of her songs. She's a big talker in between. I've seen her live many years ago.
She's only doing shows on the weekend.
And she's only doing shows on the weekends. So now she can really be a mom to her son. And if you listen to the main song that's out right now and the whole album, it's about her apology to her son. So now I'm just saying to the Vegas moms that might have a son that's around 9 years old that becomes friends with Adele's son, how easy will it be if that kid comes over to play Adele's son and you're the mom of his friend and you're like, hey, I just want to tell you something. Go easy on your mom, Adele. She was just a child. She hadn't seen the world. Just go easy on her. Can you just go easy on your mom, Adele? And while you're going easy on her, can you get me 2 tickets to the show? So I think it's a great idea, and I'd love to see her if anyone would like to invite me. Okay, latest on the Jussie Smollett. As you may recall, Jussie Smollett is a hot, good-looking black actor who is gay, and he was in the Empire show. And he is on trial now for faking a hate crime on himself and using police resources and lying to police. This is the timeline, because you may go, when was this? Was it before COVID, after? It's all such a blur. Well, it was before, because I remember where I was, because I was doing the Wendy Williams show, and Melissa Rivers was kind of the head of the round table, and it was myself and I think Ricky Smiley, and I apologize, I cannot remember the fourth person. But this was the story that broke that morning. It was absolutely shocking. I've talked a little bit about it before, but I remember I did have questions, but who was I to question some awful thing that happened to a young black gay man? But I was like, 4 in the morning he's getting a sandwich, and it's this cold out, and there's water and bleach and a rope, and and they said 2 white men in a ski mask. I'm like, how does he know that they were white? If they had a ski mask, just the outside of the tiny bit of skin that would be around your eyes, but it's at night and it's freezing cold. And anyway, I did not ask. They were like, don't, let's not even question it on the Wendy Williams show. So I just was like, this is whatever this is, we're going to find out more about it. But I believe this is an absolute form of domestic terrorism, because it is putting our country in more fear and more distress than we already were at the time, because we were so divided, right? Because they also said the guys were wearing the Trump Make America Great hats again, okay? That was also part of the report that morning. So on January 2019, Smollett files a police report alleging assault in Chicago, and then the police start questioning some of the claims. In February of 2019, the police arrest and release 2 suspects that claim that Smollett staged the attack. Those were the 2 guys that I'll just go down the thing and I'll explain. Then March 2019, Smollett was indicted on 16 accounts of disorderly conduct and lying to police. And then in April 2019, more lawsuits were filed in the case. In August 2019, the judge named special prosecutor to investigate. February 2020, Smollett pled not guilty to the restored charges. He has always said, no, this really did happen to me. September 2020, Smollett speaks out for the first time in over a year. October 2021, judge denies case dismissal. They wanted to get it dismissed, his people, and sets the trial date. And now, November 2021, his case has started. So I told you what his side was. Then they find these 2 guys. They are, let me see if there's more here. Okay, I'll explain a little bit more here. This is from the Chicago Tribune. As you know, this happened in Chicago. So right now, the jurors spent most of Tuesday hearing from a police detective who acted as the lead investigator on the case. And he detailed the way that Smollett turned from victim to suspect as, these are the names, and they're hard to pronounce, I'm just not going to say them. They're 2 guys, and they are brothers. And they told that Smollett persuaded them to help carry out the phony assault. There was a check made out to them from Smollett. He said they were his personal trainers. They met him on one of his movie sets. Anyway, let's see. They walked the jurors through extensive surveillance footage from around the time of the attack, which, really helped the brothers' story, proving that the brothers. So you're either going to believe that the brothers are telling the truth, or that Jussie is telling the truth. So then on cross-examination, Smollett's attorney focused repeatedly on what the defense has claimed was tunnel vision by the police, who believe these brothers' stories over Smollett's. And according to the defense, ignored key evidence and witnesses. Among them, a woman who happened to be walking her dog nearby a couple of hours before the attack and reportedly told police she saw a suspicious-looking white guy carrying a rope. And a security guard who claimed he saw a white man in a ski mask run past him around the time of the assault. So not only is someone wearing a white mask, which I think is very hard to tell, a white ski mask, you cannot tell, I don't think, if someone was white or black, if they're wearing a ski mask, but then they're also running past you, okay? The defense also sought to portray the brothers as homophobic criminals and drug dealers, noting that police found guns and cocaine in their apartment and apparently anti-gay sentiments on their social media. So they're going to dive more into these brothers for sure. So my question is, is Jussie now saying that it wasn't the brothers that attacked him? It was these two other white guys that the security guard saw and the lady walking her dog saw, and then these brothers took the blame for it? Okay, or is it? I don't know how that helps the defense. I don't know how these two witnesses saying, I saw one white man with a rope in the cold and another white man in a ski mask run by. I don't see how those two people are going to help the defense, because what is Jussie selling? I guess they're just saying Jussie is saying that this real thing happened, whether it was the brothers dressed up or two other white guys who have no relation to the brothers, and now the brothers are involved in this and are just want to make Jussie look bad. We'll soon find out. Okay. Also, gross news. Sex offender inmate is being called to testify at the Josh Duggar trial. Josh Duggar is from the Duggar show on TLC. There's like 20 of them. They're like super religious, and he is right now awaiting trial on child pornography, possession of it and distributing of it. Josh Duggar spent a few days in jail when he was first arrested. Then he was let out, and since had another baby number 7 or 8, named Madison something, which was interesting because he was also caught for being a client of Ashley Madison, Josh Duggar, along with his pornography claim. And then also, if you recall, he molested his sisters when he was a teenager and they were younger than he. And the whole family has admitted to it, said it happened, said they prayed on it, said he got therapy, the sisters have forgiven him. That is absolutely a fact that no one is denying, including Josh Duggar. This guy who was in jail is like the jailhouse informant. He was, in there for meth and something else. I never feel like a jail informant is that great of a witness. I don't know. I've never been in jail. Do people just suddenly start like wanting to talk to the person they just met when they've only been there for a few days? Like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm behind bars talking to a meth head. Let me just tell you everything. I don't know. I mean, maybe if you're there for a year, you might like form a strong friendship, but okay. Anyway, I mean, I want him to go, but I'm just saying, like, let's just ask the real questions. So we don't know what this guy is going to say, but he apparently has evidence to give. And this guy, Robert Franklin, was booked into the detention center just days before Duggar was arrested. And then they were roomies or whatever. And it's not clear how the two are connected, but he did spend 7 nights behind bars before being released to go home and for his trial for possession of child pornography. And they can reveal that earlier this month, the government attorneys thought and were granted permission to have the U.S. Marshals transport this guy, Franklin, to the court to give testimony between November 30th and December 3rd. So we should know, like, by next week what he said. And anyway, his name was one of more than a dozen witnesses that are going to be heard in this trial. And I don't know if the parents are going to speak on what happened in the past. I don't know if that's going to be allowed, being that he was a minor. I think he was a minor when he was molesting the sisters. Maybe he was, 18 or something. But I'm not sure if that's going to be included or not. It just so gross and just awful, and really feel bad for all the victims around him, including his sisters and kids and wife, who I understand is standing by him, his parents who are standing by him. I think some of the sisters have separated themselves from the family, and other ones are just probably being quiet. But let's see. Ooh, one of the victims, Jill Duggar, who's now 30, is listed as another potential witness along with their 20-year-old brother, Jed, though it has not been revealed whether they are giving testimony for the prosecution or the defense. That's juicy.
Yeah, he molested his sisters when he was 15.
So he molested the sisters when he was 15. So, yeah, it says the judge is still deciding whether jurors will be allowed to hear evidence of how Duggar, now 33, molested 5 girls, including 4 of his sisters, when he was in teens. Oh, so one of the girls that he molested was not part of his family. So maybe, I don't know if she will come into play. Amy, 35, has been the most vocal member of the family to condemn Duggar since his arrest in April, calling it disgusting and sickening and pronouncing that justice has been served. So that's one of the sisters that definitely has removed herself, I think, from him and probably most of the family. Okay, this crime I had mentioned before. This is a Greater Los Angeles woman in Greater Los Angeles. Her name is Heidi Planck, and she has been missing since October 17th. She was the woman who I said they had footage of her going to her son's football game. Her ex-husband was there. They had a friendly relationship, co-parenting. She is the bookkeeper in only making $125,000 a year. Good job, and the company she works for has been indicted for fraud for hundreds of millions of dollars, $43 million. And she went missing, and her dog was found not near her home by a couple. So it was all very, very suspicious. She didn't pick up her kid from school. The ex-husband got concerned. Then they found the dog in a downtown LA area, which a couple just picked up the dog, just didn't know what the deal was. And so all the pieces were coming together. The husband now has said, the ex-husband, that her boss, right when she went missing, said, please give me her computer. I need her computer. He's like, no, I'm not giving you the computer. I'm giving it to the police. They were looking in a landfill yesterday. As of today, Wednesday, you're hearing this Thursday, they had not recovered any body. But for some reason, they might have had reason to look there, and they were looking for her yesterday. She's 39 and just very, very sad. A mother, and definitely, obviously, there's foul play in this death, but we don't know, who in fact did it or what she knew in this case. But I definitely think it's all tied together. Very sad. Okay, let's see.
That's all about her.
Okay. All right. Another one of my predictions has come true. Somewhat. Do you remember, everybody, Juicy Scoopers, when I said, I can't believe this hasn't happened yet, because it absolutely will. I believe that lawsuits will start to be filed by children suing their parents, saying, I didn't ask to be born. It did happen in England with a man. After I talked about it last time, someone sent me one. He did not win, but he was a man around 40, and the parents had said, it's time that you leave the house and get a job. And he actually filed a lawsuit. I believe it was England. I just know it wasn't America. And he did not win. Parents were just so exhausted, but he was like, no, you have to take care of me for the rest of my life. You have to keep me in the lifestyle that I have become accustomed to. And I've also noticed these really funny TikToks where people say, some of these are harsher than others, but One of this was with this guy who, like, it's just his face, and he's like, two 17-year-old kids decided to spend their abortion money on cocaine, and now I have to pay my rent and bills for the rest of my life. I almost feel that guy might have been a juicy scooper and put together a funny TikTok. Then I saw another one very similar in the same way. Like, I didn't, just because you guys, didn't end it, like, now why am I having to take care of myself? Well, this is a little bit different. This girl is a show jumper. So an equestrian extraordinaire. She's 20 and she has succeeded in this pretty physically strenuous sport with spina bifida. Anyway, she's also had a meeting once with William and Meghan Markle, because she's English and I guess like her story was inspiring. Anyway, she has decided to sue her mother's doctor. So basically she's saying, and the mother is like, that's true, that the doctor didn't tell her to start folic acid pills before getting pregnant. And had she been told to do that, then the daughter may have not been born with spina bifida and would not have to suffer like this. I first heard this and I was like, listen, folic acid has been something that I've heard, hey, it's basically a prenatal vitamin. So if you're thinking about getting pregnant, listen, moms, you better start taking that folic acid unless you want it now, because she could sue the mom too. She could have been like, why did you go to another doctor? I don't know what kind of evidence you'd have from 20 years ago of a conversation that you had where the doctor was like, nah, you don't need it. You don't need to take that folic acid. Or he's saying, I tell everyone to take folic acid before. The mom is like, had I known that by not taking folic acid for like a year before getting pregnant or whatever it is, I would not have gotten pregnant. I would have not had a baby at that time until I got the folic acid in my system. Anyway, as of today, there's been an update. So her name is Evie Tumbes. She's 20, born with spina bifida. And she does have it bad. Okay. She does spend 24 hours a day connected to tubes. Anyway, last month, she is a show jumping star and, she sued Dr. Philip Mitchell over his failure to advise her mother, Caroline, to take vital supplements before getting pregnant. In her damages suit, she claimed that if the doctor had told her mother she needed to take folic acid to minimize the risk of spina bifida affecting your baby, then she would have put off getting pregnant. So there you go. And just now, the Judge Rosalind Coe, has backed Evie's case and awarded her the right to argue compensation payout. So she's backed the case. I don't know that that's what I don't know. I don't think that means that she's won, but it means that the judge has said this case can go forward. That's what I understand. Anyway, she's claiming that she has not yet calculated, but confirmed that it would be big since it would have covered the cost of all of her extensive lifelong care needs. I mean, I'm really sorry for this girl, but like, how much is a doctor supposed to be responsible? I mean, who the fuck is ever going to want to become a doctor? Because someone's saying that 20 years ago in a doctor's office that you didn't like absolutely take the folic acid pills and shove it up this woman's mouth every day and have a witness, have you sign something saying, I told you to take folic acid. I mean, maybe now there is stuff in doctor's offices that, you sign so many things when you go to a doctor. Maybe there is something in that you sign it saying, we are recommending that you take these pills, and if you don't, you can't sue us. There might be something like that now. But 20 years ago in England, there wasn't. So there you go. Oh, speaking of the royals, we all remember the juiciest part of Oprah's interview with Harry and Meghan when Meghan said someone in the royal family questioned what skin color their children would have, and that it raised concern, is the way it was. Well, in this latest book that's coming out, which we now know that I guess Harry and Meghan did have something to do with. You recall in the interview that Harry would not disclose who asked it. And everybody wondered, who could it be? He goes, I'm not to disclose who asked it, but it wasn't Queen Mother or my grandfather. Someone's like, okay, my God, was it your brother? There's no way it was your brother. There's no way it was, what's his wife? Kate. No way, Kate. So is it mean stepmother Camille? No. Was her name Camille? Camilla. No. Anyway, it was Charles. And according to this book, he was having breakfast with Camilla. And I mean, I don't know who told the story. I mean, it must have been like someone serving the tea or something. Literally serving the tea. But he just the way he said, oh, I wonder what the child's skin color will be. So he did say it, and then people interpreted that as, oh, he won't like it. Now, his people, the people defending Charles, said, I think they're saying, okay, he did say it. I think they're saying, we don't know if he said it or not, but even if he said it, you have a ginger dad and a woman who had a white father and a black mother. So I wonder what, it could be anything. When you have a mix like that, you could come out, I don't know. You just don't know. It's not appropriate to talk about. You'd think he would learn by now. But the defense of Charles asking the question is, it was just a question. It was just a question. It doesn't mean that he was not excited to meet this child, wasn't, but they said, no, it was of concern. His people are saying, if in fact it was said, it was not of concern. It was like excited curiosity. So there you go. Be careful about leaving a Yelp review while you're currently staying at a hotel. Because Daily Mail talked about this. A grandmother and a granddaughter. The granddaughter was only 6. They went to this hotel and they booked it through hotels.com. And when they checked in, they got an email saying, how was your stay? Please leave a review. So the grandma's like, well, I give it 3 out of 5. It's not great. The toilet, something's weird with the toilet flushing and there's a stain on the carpet or something. Okay. At like hours later, at like 9 at night or something, they get a call from the owner who says, you don't like it? Get the hell out. Leave my hotel. I know that this Yelp is you. Get out. And she's like, what? So they ignore him. They're like, we're not going. We're like in our pajamas. We're on. The police of the town then knocked on the door and had them removed at like 2 a.m, crying hysterically to go find another hotel. So I hope this guy is happy now because, now who really is going to want to stay there? But I think there is a question about leaving these Yelps and leaving these bad comments. Just like I have admitted, you say something really nasty about me or mean on my Instagram, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to block that person. Why do they get to see the Heather McDonald Instagram fun anymore? So yeah, I've kicked out people. I've kicked out people out of my own hotel of fun. The point is, be careful. Okay, this was juicy. By the way, just finished You on Netflix. Very juicy, very good. Of course, it's kind of ridiculous. Didn't really think he had chemistry with one of the girls, but watch it. You will love it. It's good. But the girl who plays Love, who was in season 2 and season 3, her name's Victoria Pedretti, has dropped out of this movie, but the movie has since now been completely canceled. The movie is Alice Sebold's memoir adaptation of her book called Lucky. And Lucky came out in 1999, and it was her memoir, and it was about how she was raped in a tunnel by a stranger her freshman year at Syracuse in 1981. And she's lucky because in the book, a detective said another girl who was raped in that same tunnel was killed, and you were lucky to have lived. So that's the whole point of the story. Well, the man that she portrayed in her novel she had a fictional name. But anyway, the man in real life was convicted, who she claimed did it, of first-degree rape and 5 other charges. He then did his time. He got out, but he was just exonerated. They just exonerated him, saying this crime did not happen. I mean, he was not the person who did the crime in the court's opinion, even though he already did 16 years for it. It is now off his record on November 24th in the New York State Supreme Court. So the movie has been scrapped. It's not going to happen. And where does that leave her? You know, because she's the one that got on stand, said it was him, got him convicted. It's not all on her, though. We don't know what evidence the police and prosecution did. We don't know that the defense didn't do their job. We don't know, she still is a victim of a crime, but pretty awful all around. But obviously horrible for the man that did 16 years of a crime of something he didn't do, and then still had to wait all these years to be exonerated. So maybe just make that the movie. That's what the movie should be about. And I guess that's what happened is the producers of the movie were like doing a little extra research about it. And in doing their research, it helped get this man exonerated. So I would like to hear make a little documentary about that and get all the angles of it. And then I would love to hear from her. I mean, she's probably not speaking because she's so mortified. But, it's got to be pretty awful if you're ever the person that, I think, anyway, I just think the whole thing is terrible. So, but juicy and interesting. Okay, I was watching Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. It is fun. They are in Turks and Caicos, and I have to say it's pretty demanding on my high definition TV for these women. I mean, they look amazing. They're all fit, but I mean, it's hard. I mean, and they're trying, and they look cute and everything, but God, I think if I was an OG, I would have picked the Berkshires with Dorinda, with little cute hats, a scarf to cover your neck, some solid leggings in the morning. I mean, I don't know, but Ramona is public enemy number 1, and she does not disappoint. She is just, and I have to say, I do enjoy Ramona, but she is 63 when this was shot, and she looks great, but she has like the lash extensions that never go away. And I just think when you have those lash extensions and they're thick and black and you're of a certain age and then you don't have the rest of your makeup done and you have the Ramona eyes, you just look off and crazy and a little just like, she'll be like, well, you know what? I'm sorry. Okay. I'm really, really sorry. I really didn't mean to, offend anybody. Okay. I'm just saying, Luann slept with Tom on the first date. And maybe that's not a great way to start a relationship. Well, it's not a secret. So yes, they're on a yacht and Ramona, they start talking about Tom. And what's juicy about it is they really get questions going amongst each other about stuff that we've all seen on the show. So they'll be like, what did happen, about this? So Cynthia talks about how she used to be really great friends with Nene. They talked all the time, 30 times a day. And sometimes the show does hurt a friendship. Sometimes the friendship you became friends with them because of the show in Cynthia and Nene's case. But then the show can also break that friendship. And then Teresa, who comes off very normal so far in this show, she's like, that's like with Jacqueline and I. Jacqueline and I were friends for 9 years before the show. And then on camera, she brings up like my crime stuff and my jail stuff. And I'm like, who are you to be bringing that up in front of people? And she's like, I mean, would you do that? Like, would you do that, Kyle, with Erica? And Kyle's like, well, we just saw that, yeah, they did ask questions. We all thought they didn't ask enough. So, but then, of course, when you're sitting across from someone like that, Luann's like, no, I wouldn't. I would not. I mean, I agree with you, Teresa. I don't think Jacqueline's a good friend. I mean, in my case, Of course, I would have liked to have known that Tom was making out with a woman at the Regency before I chose to still go on and marry him and then divorce him a year later. But, Bethany didn't need to do it on camera. Well, we all know the story behind that. And of course, Bethany was doing, and she goes, and I don't care that it made great TV. Lou knows now that was a great TV moment. She should have been my friend. She should have let me know off camera. I agree. That would have been the good friend thing to do. But has anybody ever really thought that Bethany was a great friend? I mean, come on. So she then tells a story of how, she was blindsided. They flash back at a lot of things. So I really think this is good. If you are a housewife person and you have not signed up for Peacock to watch this, I'm telling you, you're missing out. Okay. So she tells that. So that's pretty juicy. So then we talk about Tom again on the yacht, and Ramona has drank a lot, which I love, and she's pretty wasted, and they're on the boat, and she's like, what? I don't know. She's kind of slutty. She's very slutty. So she says something like that. Kyle's like, shh, stop it, Ramona, stop it. And she goes, and you know what? You slept with them on the first date. Okay, you slept with them on the first date, Lou. You really did. Everyone knew it. Don't think it was a great idea. Don't think it was the classiest thing. And Lou gets up and is like, Ramona, how dare you? How dare you? You're not a friend. Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry. Well, it's kind of true, Kyle. And Kyle's like, come on, Ramona. You're single. You're telling me you've never had a one-night stand? No, I haven't. I've never slept with a guy on a first date. I really never have. Really, I haven't. When Mario and I were together, we used to do this thing, cannoli night, where we'd sit by the fire and I put the cannoli cream on his penis. But no, that was my husband 27 years, okay? Wasn't this guy, sleeping with everybody. And I told her that he'd break her heart. And they're like, shut up, Ramona. Shut up. And then Kenya's like, you are awful. You are awful. You are awful. And then Ramona goes, oh, fuck you, Kenya. And Kenya is like, she goes for it. I have a photo of it. And splashes a drink at her and Kyle. And at this point, Kyle is protecting her like an elderly woman who, is afraid of something that might be at this point, it did feel like a little wrong, and she seemed very elderly and very wasted. And not that Kenya did anything wrong, but the way Kyle was protecting her, and I felt like she had a little bit of a mark on her arm, but not that came from Kenya, but everything about it, and her one-piece bathing suit and stuff, everything about it was just, and then she's like, okay, all right, okay. So finally settles down. Kenya's like, you're ruining my yacht day. And then she gets up and she goes, you know what, Lou, I'm really, really sorry. I love you. And I said it because I'm jealous. I'm absolutely jealous of your freedom of sexuality. I wish I could be more like you. I wish I had your great body. I wish I could sing like you. I wish I could just spread my legs to everybody like you and have a great time. And so then so first she hugs her, and forgives her for saying she's jealous. But then she continues on. She's like, but I told you about spreading your legs to Tom and then just going off and marrying him. I knew he'd break your heart. She's like, oh my God, Ramona, you just said you're sorry and then you made it worse. And she just takes off and everybody's like, what is wrong? And then she goes, you know what? I can't drink anymore. I can't drink anymore. So they get back to the place. And now Teresa's going to make her Italian dinner. And Ramona is wasted like a college girl that started drinking at 9 a.m. for a game that started at noon, and now it's 6:30 at night. Okay? Maybe I just know that person too well because she was me. But she's also Ramona on the Turks and Caicos trip at 63. And she is buzzed, and the lashes are tangled, and the back of her hair looks awful. And she's like, oh my God, Teresa, I'm really, really hungry. I just want can I just have a little bit of the chicken cutlet parmesan before you put it in the oven? And she's like, yeah, sure, take it if you're hungry. And she's just eating this thing and she's like she's just so hungry and so drunk. And then the guy who is the concierge person who they're doing all these bits with Luann, flirting with her. And he's like, Luann, you have to take a shot out of my mouth. I'm going to lay on the ground. And you're going to grab it with your thighs. And then, it's just this sexual stuff. And people are like, he's married. How do people feel? Well, the wife has apparently responded to someone on social media saying, I'm completely fine with it. He was literally cast. He is a concierge in the town, but he literally like was chosen to be on the show by production, and he's playing along and it's fine. So that guy is like, Ramona, your hair and makeup are here to do your hair and makeup. She's like, you know what? They're a half hour late. I don't think I need it. And he's like, the back of your head needs it. And she's like, oh. So then she leaves. And these women are like, yeah, we're here. She's like, you know what? You're late. You know, I'm kind of over it. Like, I just want to like have my chicken and my really good Italian food. I really don't want to pay like $150 for something that was like an hour and a half late. Okay. And they're like, but you owe us. So this goes on. And then Cynthia comes down and she's furious because by Ramona being drunk, can't find her phone, aren't paying the women what she owes them. I don't know if they pay them in cash every day. I don't know what the deal is, but they do have to pay for their own hair and makeup. Lou's been doing her own hair and makeup the whole time. She's like very natural. Like, you know, a couple of the girls are getting it done. A couple of the people are just doing their own. I think Kyle's doing her own, whatever. So cuts into Cynthia's time because Cynthia was supposed to start at 7:30. Now she doesn't start till 8. So now Cynthia's late. And Cynthia has not had a good time on this trip at all. She's been angry at everybody. Kenya, Ramona. She's like not liked anyone on this trip. Kyle, she snapped at. And it's interesting because she's not coming back to Atlanta. And she says, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, nobody gets fired anymore. You know, they just said, oh, Chris Cuomo, I guess, just got in some trouble. You know, his brother is the governor of New York. He got in trouble and had to step down. I guess Chris Cuomo and you know, and I was talking to Peter about it and he goes, you know, nobody gets fired anymore. You're just suspended indefinitely. Like literally they don't say the word fire. Suspended indefinitely. So what does that mean? Well, it means you're suspended, but you're never coming back. We're never seeing your face again. We're never going to give you another paycheck, but you're not fired. You're not fired. So when these housewives go, it's on pause or, you know, so not, but with Cynthia, I guess it's another on pause situation. But I doubt that it was really Cynthia saying, I don't want to come back and there's an offer on the table. I think there's a mutual discussion of some sort. I think she wants to save her marriage. I don't think she wants to do this anymore. And I think this trip made her like, really over it. She might regret it later when she looks at her bank account. Maybe she won't. I hope not. Okay, but so she goes in at Ramona about it. And Ramona's like, she's like, well, but you wasted all the time. You didn't pay the bills. And she goes, oh my God, can I just say I have like the best FICO score of any of my friends? Okay. You know, what's the best FICO score? It's like 800 or something. Okay. I have like, I don't know, like 795. I think I called the other day and they're like, Ramona, it's a 798 now. And I'm like, so I really don't think that I'm not going to pay these girls their money. I'm using them tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to pay them then. But they were late. And she's like, ooh, I look good in yellow. Like listen, I know people hate her and like are demanding her. No. I either start fresh with everybody, but you cannot get rid of Ramona. It is like, I'm literally sitting on the couch laughing. And also she's my favorite person to impersonate. Speaking of the Berkshire one. Now, I don't know when that's coming, but they go to the Berkshires and it's Dorinda. And I think it's out. I don't think this is a secret. But the other women are Vicky Gunvalson. We know that she went and that she went right on the tail and found out while she was there that Steve Lodge, her boyfriend of 3 years and fiance, moved out of her place and broke up with her while she was there. So we're going to see that whole thing break down. And since he has said we were already broken up, I was just living there out of convenience. Like we hadn't had sex in a year and a half. Like who knows? Tamara's there. And then Taylor Armstrong, Brandi Glanville, it's both from former Beverly Hills, Phaedra and Eva, beautiful Eva the model, and Jill Zarin and Dorinda. So I think that's going to be pretty good too. And hopefully they do that same asking questions about, you know, past episodes, past seasons, past castmates, how they felt. You know, it's a lot of like, what was your best part of the show? You know, a lot of people said, what's the curse, Kyle, of, you know, what was the thing about your marriage? And she's like, our marriage actually got stronger by being on the show together. I always say Mauricio and Kyle worked because Mauricio's business benefited from Kyle being on the show. And they already had a strong foundation. So it was a double solid thing Their daughters benefited from being on the show. The daughters' careers have been... Oh, by the way, her daughter, Farrah, is engaged now. And Kyle's daughter is, which will be fun to see. And, but then Kyle said the thing I've always said. She's like, I think women go on the show because they want freedom. I say I think people go on the show to show the world what an asshole their husband is. I think sometimes they go on the show thinking, once my husband sees what a mean asshole he is to me on TV, that'll make him feel bad and be nice to me. When in fact, it's the complete opposite because they're like, oh my God, thanks for exposing the world to what a dick I am now. And I can't even go out of the house. I hate you. And then you get divorced. So I love all that stuff. I didn't love this look of Kyle's. Absolutely awful look of Kyle's. A shiny gold jacket and cami underneath, big earrings. The hair looked awful and black leather pants. Your worst outfit, Kyle. Sorry. This was interesting, though. I loved that the real bad necklace on Instagram realized that Kim Richards, in the famous scene in the limo of, you stole my goddamn house, to Kyle, she had this beautiful pearl kind of Victorian necklace, which must be real because she's kept it all these years. And she lent it to her daughter, and the daughter wore it to Paris's wedding. So I love when people figure that out, and it looks beautiful. Also, a lot of people are concerned that Teddi Mellencamp has also got the Kardashian disease with her fillers in her face and everything. But in doing it, she's actually morphing more into Kyle's face, which is also an offshoot of the Kardashian face. And there's so many people that have made jokes about this, but this one was Bravo historian, that she took one with her husband who is graying and then put it to another selfie that Kyle took with her husband, Mauricio, who is graying, both good-looking guys and both kind of darker skinned, kind of, a little bit exotic-looking guys. Because Teddi got brown hair, she got the brows everyone has, the lips. So they think it's single white female, but I think it's pretty fun to watch. Okay. Also, Bravo historian posted this. Patti Stanger, who I have spent a lot of time with and I enjoy, she has really gone off on the face tuning on her Instagram. Now, what I want to say about Patti Stanger is, even though she's a Jew, she's a Christian in the sense that she face tunes herself as well as the other women that are in the photo. We've all seen photos, Gretchen Rossi, you're guilty of it, where you've only face tuned yourself. Someone else, has horrible color, whatever. And your waist is snapped and you got to do everybody's face. She posted this one of Jill Zarin that does not look at all like Jill Zarin. It's a filter that changed her teeth, her smile, her nose. And I immediately screen grabbed it and sent it to Jill and Allie. And I was like, what the hell? And Allie is laughing. And I'm like, look, it's sweet. Patti, it's sweet. But come on. It's almost like a joke. It is a joke. I'm saying it is a joke. It is crazy. So just know, people, we're on to it. I'm all for a filter, a little face tuning. It's good. But you can't go so off the rails because then we watch you on these shows and we're like, what? I thought you were size 0. I thought you had a thigh gap that a small child could walk through. What is going on? What is happening? I just saw you in your Lululemons on your reality show, and that's not what I've seen for the last year and a half of you declaring your love for someone in your tiny body. So it's just it's pretty entertaining. But anyway, happy birthday, Jill Zarin. Okay. Oh, speaking of this, was from Talk of Shame. So I guess Real Housewives of OC is starting this week. Pretty excited about it. Heather Dubrow is back. Shannon Beador, as you remember, the three amigos and, Arriba and all that with Vicky and Tamra. Well, Tamra and Vicky both got the boot 2 years ago. Neither of them have been back. I think that at one point Tamra thought she might be back in some capacity as a friend or showing up. I don't think she makes any appearances this season. But Shannon went on, I guess, to do some interview and explain why she's no longer friends with Shannon and Tamra. And that pissed off Tamra. And Tamra wrote, "Is your ass jealous of your shit? that is one of my favorite Tamra lines ever. She said it at a reunion. I don't even want to say who she said it to because I don't want that person coming after me. But look up the reunion when she said it. And it is your ass. No, let me see. No, she actually said it wrong. The line is, I want to say it was so clever. It's like, is your ass jealous of your mouth for all the shit that's coming out of it? That was it. Is your ass jealous of your mouth for all the shit that's coming out of it? It's pretty clever when you think of it. So she's, okay. All I've ever said, this is what her post is. All I've ever said is that she stopped talking to me shortly after I got let go, Vicky too, and how bad it hurt me when I needed her the most. I was always there for you. She's talking to Shannon. If the truth hurts, so be it. You shit on me. That's why you can't keep friends. I spent so many years talking you off a cliff all hours of the night, protecting you, doing your dirty work, making excuses for you. Shame on me. I should have seen through your craziness back then. I've seen the first episode, meaning the OC, which there's screeners that go around to people. You're being exposed for the mastermind manipulator you are. So happy Gina and Emily expose you. Bye, bitch. And then she also wrote, she should be careful, meaning Shannon. Vicky found her old iPhone, her old iPhone with 10 old voicemail messages from Shannon. I guess Vicky wasn't lying after all. Too bad she didn't have it at the reunion to show what a liar Shannon is. And to think, I really believed Shannon at the time. This was the stuff about when Shannon and David Beador were trying to keep their marriage together, and Vicky had said that Shannon had called her and shared with her that their fights had gotten physical. That's all I'm going to say. But, and Shannon then said, I can't believe that Vicky would lie about that. That has never, ever happened. How dare she say that about my husband? That is so damaging to our family and our reputation. So now, according to this, maybe there's some real evidence of it. Obviously, they're pissed. They're OGs. Vicky, has been on the show from the beginning. And maybe the Berkshire's trip was not what she wanted. And I think they want to get back on the show. And this is some scary shit. This is some, I'm scared just reading the text because the tweets and posts about it. But so we'll see. So people are like, oh my God, you're not on the show. Get out of it. I'm sorry. I think this is what makes watching these shows juicy is the social media aspect of it, that you can get this extra information that people can share, that they have a platform to get their point of view out, even if they're not on the show. They can post it. They can go on a podcast. They can write a blog about it. They can do an IG live about it. They have every right. They were in the public eye for 12 years. These are people they really knew. They have every right to say what they think, tell their opinion, whatever, and it makes it extra juicy. Britney Spears, thank you for the person who sent it to me. She's still wearing the brown pumps. Looks like a pump, feels like a sneaker, easy spirit. And anyway, you guys, I am keeping hope alive that she finds a shoe that is just as comfortable, but has a little more fashion sense. I hope it's not this one. Guys, there's been a lot of crimes in LA, but I think one of the worst crimes is the crime of fashion. There is so much ugly designer shit out there. There is a Croc that has a high heel, but the heel looks like a large screw. This is $625 from Saks Fifth Avenue. A high-heeled black Croc. There is also a $1,150 sandal that is a crocodile effect. It is leather with a horn heel. Okay? Not okay. There is a Balenciaga huge shoe. I guess if you're a short guy, this is going to give you like 2 extra inches. It is a hideous tennis shoe for men. And there's also a $708 awful Balenciaga track low mesh trainers. I mean, there's so many ugly things. And then someone just sent me video of the Louis Vuitton fashion show that was absolutely like a horror show. I don't even know what this shit is. So is the thought now that some of these designers are just like, we're going to put out the ugliest, weirdest shit and see if it still sells. And whoever buys it are the people we don't want as customers. And then we're just going to figure out, then we're going to red flag them. And then next year, we're going to actually make pretty clothes that people that look good in our clothes and give us a good rep, and we'll be wearing them. And everybody else wearing these ridiculous, like Emperor Has No Clothes kind of ugly shit. The joke's on you. I don't know. I don't get it. This was also a really sad thing that just happened in LA. This woman was just killed in her home. It's so sad. She's been married to her husband, who is Clarence Avant, since 1967. And they are the parents to a film producer, Nicole Avant, who's actually married to the Netflix co-CEO, Ted Sarandos. So a person broke into her house in Beverly Hills. I've told you about the crime. And killed her and robbed her. And her husband is 90, and he was known as like the Black Godfather of music. They did a Netflix doc about him. I feel so sorry for her daughter. And I don't know where he was. I don't know if because he's 90, maybe he's alive. So I don't know if he was not in the house or if he lives, at like assisted living. I don't know. But really horrible. But just interesting that the Netflix connection too, was this like random or was this something more? They act like it's like a random robbery, but I think based on all the connections, there might be something more there. Also, Ghislaine Maxwell, her trial is starting. This is the woman who was at one time his girlfriend, Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, companion, friend. And, being accused of getting girls as young as 14 to have them come and perform sex acts and travel and then be sex trafficked. And a couple of the victims actually were sexually assaulted or, sex trafficked in her home in London. So it covers several different places. They just had I think a pilot just testified. There's some testimony of a pilot that we're going to hear from. Right now, they're doing the jury selection. But she has been behind bars since, I think it's almost close to a year. They thought that she would turn and give names. Maybe, I think that she's not going to. If we're going to trial, I think that means that either she has no other names to share, that she has, in her opinion, been truthful, or what. But it's interesting that in the end, we can't get to Epstein. None of these other men that were named as perpetrators from, Prince Andrew to the Leslie Wexler guy that ran the fashion houses and the modeling thing. There was Alan Dershowitz also was stated to have done, been part of this. So they've all denied it. It's just, if the one person they get for the biggest like sex trafficking elite pedophile ring type of thing is a woman in the end, I don't know. That's just kind of crazy. So but maybe she really doesn't have any bargaining tools. Maybe that's why, they put her in like the worst prison. And I'm not saying she didn't deserve to be there, but I'm saying she was held, without bail, with like rats and all this other, and I think it was like hoping that she would then say, what do I need to do to plea deal? And apparently I don't think it's happened. So I'm definitely going to be watching that. Sisterwives. Oh my God. I know you guys, I made Drake watch this. He's like, this is the boringest thing. And I'm like, I just can't. Like someone else said that every time that the people should do drinking games, every time they say Coyote Pass, take a shot. It is all COVID talk, and it is so annoying and depressing about all like who's getting together and who's not. And Cody's like, I mean, these kids, and the kids are just like, God, who cares? Like, we just want to see each other. And they're just all, I just can't stop watching it. I just cannot stop watching it. But that's it. Just keep watching it. I don't know what else to say about it. Just, it's annoying. They still have yet. They finally took a shovel to Coyote Pass land just to make a fire pit and get around. And then the whole time they're like, kids, not too close, stay away from each other. And it's just so depressing. Sex and the City trailer came out. Of course, so many of my predictions. Of course, she's not going to be typing away her thoughts. She's going to be telling them in a podcast like me. Okay, Heather McDonald, you're welcome. She's with Big. They are still married. Kristen Davis, what's Kristen's?
Carrie.
No, what's Kristen Davis's name?
Charlotte.
Charlotte is still with her husband, who, by the way, is the only person that looks exactly the same, the attorney. And it looks like one of her older daughter now is like a pianist. And I don't know I remember the other one, Rose, that was miserable in the last movie. I don't know if she's like, it would be kind of great if like their own child was like the miserable teen. And then the one they adopted is like the protege delight. Then I don't know what Miranda's teenage son is up to. But we don't see Steve. Oh, come on, Miranda, give the hardworking nanny a night off. We don't see him. We know she's going to be a lesbian. And then, so we see the podcast stuff. There's another character who does stand up. I mean, could this be more about my life? Could you just stop? Could the writers, I don't even want the writers to listen to Juicy Scoop anymore because I'm sick of you stealing my shit. Anyway, of course, I'm excited to see it. And we're going to watch. So that's coming and that'll be good. Let's see what else. Oh, Lindsay Lohan got engaged to this guy, Bader Shamas. Anyway, then people said, oh, I forgot that she had a girlfriend at one time. She had two lesbian girlfriends, I think, at one time. She had DJ Sam Ronson, which I was obsessed with that time. That's a golden era of pop culture time. And then also Courtney Simmel, who was really good friends with Kourtney Kardashian. They were on this show before the Kardashians came on called like Cattle Run or something, where all these rich kids that were Hollywood kids would like work with cattle, and Kourtney Kardashian was on that with Courtney Simmel, and Courtney Simmel is gay and was with Lindsay at one time. What?
I didn't see this. That sounds funny.
I remember when Courtney told me about it. She goes, all my friends want to be in a reality show. And she goes, I think she went with Courtney for the audition because they were just like hanging out. And then they were like, well, we want you. So Courtney did the show. And I'm like, how was it? She's like, it's awful. They take our phones away. And that was like, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago. So speaking of Courtney, I just was looking at her Instagram. And, they're at their pool in their Madison club inside Palm Desert. And there's a photo of her, wrapped around Travis. And let me see if I have it. Do I have it? I don't know if I do. I think I have her. Oh, wait, here it is. Okay, so it's this photo, okay, right? So she's sitting in the jacuzzi with her legs strapped around him. He's kissing her. And, we get full view of like, his back and everything. And they're, very, very sexual, right? And a friend of mine goes, who is the third wheel that's taking this photo? And I'm like, I don't know, Mason, Penelope, and it's what I said about the Madonna photo. Like, I just imagine the kid that has to be like, okay, all right, mom, okay. And then she's like, let me see it. No, hold on, let me arch my back more. Let me get closer to Travis. Mason, just take 5 of them. Could you just take 5 of them? Okay. So then on the next one, she has like a slideshow photos and it's her being just like sexy alone. But then the rest are her with the kids. So they were in the jacuzzi with her. And I'm just like, hey, you know what? You gave them a great life. If they have to take photos of you with your new fiance looking real horny for him, that's what you get. You know, that is part of the package. But it's just hilarious to me. Yeah, right. Maybe she will do it for them. That's true. Let me see what else I have here. Okay, wait. Oh, okay. Hilaria Baldwin joked that she was proud after one of her young sons recently learned how to spell the F word and wrote the expletive all over their dusty car. So I guess she did a post of it and was like, I guess he gets it from his dad. Ha ha. Isn't that funny? Isn't that so? I'm like, okay, let's just dissect this post a little. Okay. Why? So, look, I know people think it's funny when their little kids say a bad word, and it is funny. I mean, it is. I remember my sister saying that a teacher told her that someone bumped into her son in preschool, and he was like, "What the fuck, dude?" Like, and it is funny because it's like they're hearing you and everything. But I just think like, look, she told me the story. Okay, I'm telling you now, but it's years later and he's a polite kid. But I'm just saying, like, I get that it's funny, but in your case, we all heard when he screamed at his daughter when you were just Hillary, he had a daughter named Ireland. Then he screamed at her and called her a fucking little pig for blowing him off on his weekend when they, she blew off her dad or whatever. So he left an awful voicemail message. And then the mom, Kim Basinger, then used it, and it got out in the tabloids. But she used it in negotiating custody with him or whatever. It all got out there. Then they made light of it on his roast and this and that. We all know he has a temper. We all know he gets mad. But it's like, it's pretty traumatic to kids. And like, so now you're saying he's saying it all the time in light of the fact that we're still dealing with the death of a woman that he accidentally shot on set of a movie that he was a producer of. I'm just saying, like, Hilaria, just stick to just like a cooking or thing, or like just a photo of like a really beautiful flower, or maybe your tree. Like, just God. I mean, just like, oh, it's so funny. Aren't people gonna love this funny joke? It wasn't funny, you idiot. By the way, Hilaria Baldwin also wants to do stand-up. And along with my tour, when I was thinking about doing my stand-up tour with all the reality stars, I did get some response. People think it's a really great idea. And another person that is doing stand-up is Big Ed from 90 Day Fiancé. Oh, and you know who got divorced is getting divorced from 90 Day Fiancé? Remember the girl that sang, like, she was like a Christian singer and she got a Spanish boyfriend. And I said the whole time she was doing this was just to get her singing career off the ground. And then she was actually seen auditioning for American Idol. Anyway, she's getting divorced. Shocked that didn't work out. Marilyn Manson, not a delight. His house was just searched by Los Angeles police. Authorities searched his house. As you know, it's all part of a probe into sexual assault claims from numerous girlfriends and other women that he's come in contact with over the years. It's 8 to 10 investigators with the special victims did force entry and executed a search. Part of everything I've read on that is that his place is where a lot of the assault and horrible behavior and where they were trapped and subjected to do things they didn't want to do happened in his house. So maybe they're looking for actual things in which the women described stuff happening. I don't know if it's like a dungeon or what humiliating things he made them do, but they went into the house. So we'll see what happens with him. Yeah.
They got hard drives of like media that he had taken.
Oh, they got the hard drives and computer stuff as well, which I'm sure a lot of it was filmed. I know there was audio that people have shared on social media over the last year of them being assaulted. Also, Tristin Thompson, he threw out an annoying fan who was harassing him over a Khloe Kardashian comment saying something. Anyway, I kind of love this. You know, you're trying to play a game. You're a basketball star. Just like me as a comedian, like you can't concentrate when someone's saying some dick move and some dick thing to you. Anyway, that guy looks like a dick and he got kicked out. Oh, this was kind of juicy for the Hollywood people, Hollywood Insight. Will Ferrell and Adam McKay have been business partners for years. They created Funny or Die. They've done movies together. They've produced TV shows together. They've done so much. They have their own production company, so many things together. Well, they broke up about a year and a half ago. And Will just said, you know, he wants to do more things than I want to do. And I just don't want to like driving by and seeing a billboard of a movie that I produced that I'm not even aware of. I just don't have the bandwidth that he has. So we're going to end our professional partnership. Well, Adam McKay now finally told the real story. And the real story is that he is producing, Adam McKay, a HBO series about the Lakers and Jerry Buss, the infamous owner of it. And Will Ferrell wanted to play Jerry Buss, but he gave it to John C. Reilly, the other stepbrother, because he felt he looks more like Jerry Buss. He would play it better. He just thought it was a better fit. Other people in Hollywood and producers and stuff felt it was the same. So according to Adam McKay, who told the story to Variety, he's like, I know that Will's not going to like it, but whatever, it is what it is. He'll be mad at me for a while, but then in 6 months we'll get together and laugh about it. Well, they didn't laugh about it. Will is done with him. And Adam's like, I would have never thought that we would never talk again. But as it appears now, we're never going to talk again. And I don't know, you know, like it's kind of it's just, I love really knowing the truth about these things. Will Ferrell, you know, you remember he was really good friends and with Night at the Roxbury with Chris Kattan. And in Chris Kattan's book, he goes in great detail of really what happened. And Chris Kattan admitted on my show too of like how he kind of screwed up that the things that happened on that set of Night at the Roxbury really seemed to bother Will Ferrell. He felt he acted in an unprofessional manner because Chris Kattan had an affair with the director of that movie, and didn't make it known to Will Ferrell. And then Will Ferrell went back to SNL and said, "You and I can work together. We can do sketches together. We can be funny together on stage, but we are no longer friends." And he stuck to it. And I think the thing with Will Ferrell is he feels like, you got to come to me first. Like, and then Adam's like, yeah, I didn't do it right. I should have immediately picked up the phone and been like, look, I know you want to play this part, but I got to be honest with you. I think your good friend who you like to is better for it. And I think Will Ferrell was planning on it, was all excited, and then was just blindsided and then felt really betrayed. And then who knows, just was like, you know what, I think I'm done with you. So there's a juicy Hollywood story for you that not everyone's talking about, but you know who is? Me. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much. As always, the juiciest scoop is on Patreon, and you're going to get a special episode, as you do every Friday, as well as special bonus material based on what tier you join. So go to heathermcdonald.net, click on Patreon, change your life, and I will see you soon, hopefully. Also, you guys, very exciting for my Arizona peeps or anyone in the Tempe area, or maybe you want to take a trip for a fun weekend, February 5th and 6th, stay at a beautiful resort in Scottsdale or Phoenix or Tempe. Come see me at the Tempe Improv. I will be there February 5th and 6th. Go to heathermcdonald.net and get your tickets. I don't know how many other shows I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to be doing this one, and it's going to be super fun and always new material and exciting stuff. So come see me. You know how it is. Change your life.